Do you give any credence to the barefoot shoe movement, not necessarily for training, more so regular daily use? Yeah, I do, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I wouldn't give it credence in terms of people being like it's going to change your performance. I wouldn't give it in terms of people are going to eliminate all their injuries. I wouldn't say it's going to increase your athletic performance, but I do think there is some credence for it for sure in terms of just day to day living and working. I think it is a nice adjustment, so I would definitely look into it. It does make sense. It is very obvious if you would imagine that with any other joint or body part, you would see drastic changes.
I think especially for strength athletes or weightlifters, powerlifters, crossfitters who are training a lot but not doing a huge amount of kind of proprioceptive work, I think the barefoot stuff or wearing lower profile shoes, it's going to make you a hell of a lot more stable overall. So just getting your general movement in with those will make you a lot more stable when it comes to the kind of high stability stuff you're going to need, like for squats, deadlifts, cleans, whatever it is. I think you should be like as minimal a sole as possible, as minimal a lift going from the heel to the toe as possible, and then not having all this kind of big bouncy cushion underneath your feet. That's a great way to make your lower body incredibly unstable.
I would always wear flat heel shoes since I remember Kelly started talking about 10 years ago about how higher heel shoes soften and shorten the length of your Achilles, not soften, shorten the length of your Achilles if you permanently wear slightly elevated shoes for day-to-day living. So I would have always worn Converse. But what I wear at the moment is the Innovates F45 lights. And I've definitely, so it's been about 2 years. Is it 2 years or 1 year? 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
2 year. And my feet have gotten noticeably more muscular in the last 6 months, even from wearing them very routinely. So I would have always worn safety shoes at work, which were incredibly the opposite of minimal shoes. But because obviously the last year I've been wearing whatever shoes I want to wear, the basically it's always been the Innovates bar dress shoes or whatever. So I've definitely noticed my feet have gotten more muscular. I commented on a few weeks ago saying, holy shit, I can actually see. And I didn't have any arch issues or compressed toes or anything like that before, any major issue beyond normal. But I definitely noticed there's just more tone, definition, aesthetic in my feet, which is very, very interesting from the minimalist shoes. And Innovate aren't even the most minimal, but they're as close as I would get before the aesthetics would be a con for me.
Five toes, like
I don't. Some of the barefoot stuff, I'm not a huge fan of how it looks for day to day. The Innovates are very what I want from a shoe.
Like this is like flat soled as well,
Yeah.
Like this is, to be honest, I think this is what most people that I'm talking about, like nice white toe box. Same with like Converse and stuff if they fit your size of foot well.
Yeah.
And obviously those because they have a more flexible midsole. But the other thing is like people who squat and lift weights get kind of injuries that are very preventable by just having a small bit more work in the foot and the lower leg done. Like a lot of the knee stuff we see comes from people gradually trying to get their knees further forward in the squat and having no prep work done. Or they're on the squats, they're starting to get a small bit of valgus knee rotation, or they're trying to force vagus knee rotation and they're not able to do it. And it's because they have no stability in their feet to be able to kind of create tension and create torque into the ground. Like a lot of these things would be made better if you didn't wear your Nike Air Max with a big heel in them or whatever it was, if you just had a small bit more strength in your foot. I'm in the unbelievably gifted position of having fucked up my feet when I was younger and gotten loads of physio exercises to do, like rolling up towels at your feet and stuff. And it just means I've like supremely long toes and very strong feet, and I've never had an issue with it since.